Treasurer Jim Chalmers is announcing appointments to the Reserve Bank's boards. Let's just listen in now and we will get back to that story about the Barley Nine very soon.
Okay, all good to go? Everyone good? Okay. Today I'm really pleased and really proud to be finalising the most significant recommendation of the Reserve Bank review by announcing the composition of the two new boards. I wanted to thank all of the members of the current board for their work, but also for agreeing to continue to serve on one of the two new boards. What I'm announcing today is the best combination of existing members and new members. These are first-class, first-rate people with the right skills and with decades of relevant experience. And what we're announcing today means that we get some continuity on both boards and not just on one of the boards. I wanted to acknowledge the Governor and I both consulted with members of the existing board. We asked them for their preferences. And I'm very grateful to Alana Rubin and Carol Schwartz for going on to the Governance Board. That does create two vacancies on the Monetary Policy Board, which will be filled by Marnie Baker and Renee Fry-McKibben. And it means 4 vacancies on the Governance Board, which will be filled by Jennifer Westacott, David Thodey, Danny Gilbert and Swathi Dave. And for the sake of completeness, that means that the Monetary Policy Board becomes Michelle Bullock as Chair, Andrew Hauser as Deputy Chair, Stephen Kennedy as the Treasury Secretary, Alison Watkins, Carolyn Hewson, Ian Harper, Ian Ross, Renee Fry-McKibben and Marnie Baker. And it means that the Governance Board becomes Michelle Bullock as the Chair, Carol Schwartz as the Deputy Chair of the Governance Board, Andrew Hauser as Deputy Governor, the Chief Operating Officer Susan Woods, and then Alana Rubin, Swathi Dave, Danny Gilbert, David Thodey and Jennifer Westacott. So these are high quality, high calibre people, and together they represent the best mix of relevant skills and abilities and experience. I'm very proud to say that women will make up the majority of both boards, and this continues the very substantial progress that we've made when it comes to appointments in the Treasury portfolio, 6 of 9 on the Governance Board and 5 of 9 on the Monetary Policy Board. I wanted to say a few things about what was a very robust and very consultative process which ran over a number of months. We took up the RBA reviews process for the operation of a panel of 3 people. We engaged a recruitment agency. There was an expression of interest process. The panel of 3 comprised Governor Bullock, Secretary Kennedy, and a third party, in this case Martin Parkinson. I consulted my Cabinet colleagues formally and informally. There was a lot of much broader informal consultation as well throughout the course of the year. I consulted the Shadow Treasurer in July, 5 months ago, and again last week. I wanted to make it clear that the 2 new members of the Monetary Policy Board were the same names that I proposed to the Shadow Treasurer in July. And almost all of the Governance Board nominees as well. We asked for suggestions from the opposition, and that's because we took our responsibilities to consult very seriously. And you all know, having followed this very closely, just how much effort and work we put into trying to make this as bipartisan as it could be, and that extended to the way that we consulted in a genuine way. The new boards will begin from the 1st of March so that it's after the February meeting and not before. And it's also worth pointing out that it is still the case that most of the Monetary Policy Board was first appointed to the existing board by the Coalition. You'll also see that I've staggered the term lengths to ensure that we can continue to balance the perspectives of existing members and new members, and so all of the reappointments don't come at once. We've imposed some order on the end of the terms in February and in August, at the end of a statement on monetary policy cycle, also trying to get it away from budgets and other times that occupy Treasurers' minds, but impose some order on the sequence of these reappointments coming up so that they don't all come up at once. I wanted to say a very big thank you to Governor Bullock for all of the work over a really long period of time now. I work very closely with Michelle Bullock. I'm grateful for her support for the Reserve Bank reforms and the work that has been happening at the Reserve Bank to make sure that we can finalise these reforms. And so I acknowledge her, and I acknowledge again everyone who has agreed to serve. I wanted to touch on a couple of other issues before I took your questions. Katie Gallagher and I will be releasing the mid-year budget update on Wednesday. Responsible economic management has been a defining feature of the Albanese Labor government, and it will be a defining feature of the mid-year budget update as well. It will show that over the first 2.5 years of this government, we have seen the biggest ever positive nominal turnaround in a budget on record. You know that we've delivered the first back-to-back surpluses in the best part of 2 decades. There is substantially less debt than we inherited, and that's saving the Australian people tens of billions of dollars when it comes to debt interest. There are also some pressures that we need to accommodate in the mid-year budget update. The estimates variations will be very substantial. We've been upfront, for example, about the almost $2 billion that we're very proud to be providing veterans as a consequence of our better and faster processing of their claims. And I acknowledge that a number of you have shown an interest in that over time. Other estimates variations around Medicare, early childhood education, natural disasters and the like. But slower growth in China will also have a substantial impact on the budget. What you'll see in Wednesday's figures is that we are downgrading mining exports by more than $100 billion. As a part of that, or as a consequence of that, company taxes will be down $8.5 billion in the budget update. That's actually the first downgrade in company taxes since 2020. The global economy is uncertain, and that's weighing on our own economy and it's weighing on our budget. Some of these pressures on our budget are intensifying. Global volatility is a big part of the story, and you'll see that in the mid-year update. But despite all of this global economic uncertainty, despite the pressures on our economy from cost of living and from higher interest rates, what we've seen over the first 2.5 years of this government, 2 surpluses, much less debt, at the same time as we kept the economy growing, real wages are growing, inflation is falling, 1 million new jobs created, everyone's getting a tax cut and help with their energy bills, and still those 2 surpluses and a budget which is in substantially better nick than the one that we inherited in May of 2022. The last 2 things are Tim Pallas's resignation, and then I've been asked to say a few things about the situation in Fiji. I wish Tim Pallas well. I've known Tim Pallas for some time now. I consider him a friend. He is a person of great intellect. He's made an enormous contribution to the state that he loves. He is wonderful company, and I'll be sad to see him go. From time to time we butt heads about issues, and that's fine, that's to be expected. But nobody could doubt his commitment. Over 10 years and 10 budgets and all of his experience before then, he has been a huge contributor to the state of Victoria. He's a very fine Victorian and a great Australian. I'll be sad to see him go, but I can understand that after 10 years and 10 budgets, he's earned the right to put his feet up. So, Tim, I wish you well, mate, and all the best for the future. The last thing I wanted to say was about the situation in Fiji. This is very concerning news out of Fiji, with 4 Australians hospitalised over the weekend. We are thinking of the friends and family of the people who are affected. This is no doubt a very distressing time for them. DFAT officials are in contact with those affected Australians, and they're providing consular assistance. I wanted to thank and acknowledge the very fine people of DFAT for the effort that goes in situations like this. Fiji police are investigating to determine the cause of the illnesses, and we'll try and keep people updated as that investigation continues. DFAT's updated its travel advice for Fiji with some extra information, and Australians who are travelling this summer should always check Smart Traveller to make sure that they've got the most up-to-date information. Beyond that, people who are affected by this are entitled to their privacy, so we won't say more about their particular situation until or unless it's okay with them. More broadly, obviously, if Australians are travelling, be very alert to the potential risks, in this case around drink spiking and alcohol poisoning. Don't leave your drinks unattended. Pay attention when your drinks are being mixed, and get urgent medical help if you suspect that something is wrong.